This place is extremely covered in mud today. Well, howdy everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Today you join me up in Grimsby at a conservation area. I finished work a little early today, so I exchanged my work boots for hiking boots. And they are very much needed today. It was pouring rain all morning / last night. So the ground is just covered in mud everywhere I go. And it's making it very difficult to place my tripod. I'm having to find smaller areas of grass that have kind of absorbed most of the water to make it easier. Plus, that way I don't have to sit there and keep wiping down the base of my tripod. So as you can see, the weather is a little bit off today. We have probably 30, maybe 40 km/h winds constantly battering us. So it's making setting up the tripod and finding a good composition a little bit challenging, but not impossible. First thing I saw today was there are a lot of hawks flying overhead right now. As the wind is, there's quite a lot of wind. They're just kind of coasting on the currents and it looks really cool. The only problem is from up here, they're maybe like 40 or 50 feet away. So it's very difficult to get, I want to get more than one of them in the composition. So I tried framing that up for a few minutes and I kind of just gave up as it's very difficult to get the perfect composition. And with the clouds kind of constantly rolling in, it doesn't really add a very interesting background. Although, while I was doing that, I did notice Toronto has a lot more haze on it than usual. So it has a very dreamlike look to it. And with all of the cloud cover, and you can see different layers in the water itself, as I'm sure different temperatures. Plus there are quite a lot of white caps right now as the wind is quite severe. So I want to see if I can find an area where we can frame up Toronto. I'm not sure if I want to get anything else in the foreground element or just kind of have the painterly like Toronto skyline. I'm thinking that might be an interesting photo. So I found a bit more of an opened area. You can see, whoa, a hawk just flew right by. Now you can see a lot more of Toronto skyline from over here. And with how much there is haze in between us and the city, it really gives it an interesting look. So I'm gonna see if I can try setting up my camera and see if we can frame up this composition. Very dreamy, painterly like almost. And the layers in the clouds right now especially. It's funny how whenever it's your first photograph of the day, you're always so unsure of it. So unsure of yourself until you kind of start exercising those creative muscles. And then it starts coming to you a lot more easily. Well, the bugs are starting to become just a little bit annoying, but I finally was able to work on a composition that I actually kind of like, / I think looks okay. It was very difficult to get actual focus on Toronto, as I had to switch from auto to manual focus and then click into 10x zoom and then very carefully move it like fractions of an inch, like microscopic amounts. And too much, I tried to go to infinity first, threw the entire area out of focus. So it was just a little too far. So I had to come back just a little bit from infinity. And boy, was it ever difficult nailing that exact area, but I think I finally got it. And then I set up the composition. I had to zoom all the way into 300 millimeters. And then I was going to try using the 1.6 crop factor, but I don't know if that might be a little bit too punched in. So what I'm thinking I might do is do a 16:9, just cutting off the top and the bottom just a little tiny bit, and then kind of focusing your eye a bit more to the center area where where all the skyline is of Toronto, and then especially of some of the clouds and the kind of depth and just the shapes you can see in the clouds. It's really interesting. So I'm at f32, 1/25th of a second, ISO 100. And right now we have a small lull in the breeze, but the clouds are rolling in now a lot thicker. So we had just a smidgen of light earlier kind of being cast towards Toronto, but now it's completely cut off and there's almost no light. Now, I don't know if more light may appear in a few minutes. Now, the only thing that's kind of interesting is the histogram. I can go almost all the way to almost 2 full stops overexposed and it's not peaking. It's just the clouds lose a lot of definition and the water itself looks kind of washed out. So if I go only just half a step overexposed, it helps to bring out a lot more of the Toronto skyline. Is. You can just see that birch tree over there, how it actually collapsed under its own weight. And then it fell onto the tree beside it that's kind of holding it up a little bit with that Y branch section right there. That's crazy. I wonder how much the tree must have weighed or how rotted the wood got underneath it for it to collapse. After we found that very first photo from Toronto, it's been a lot more difficult now to find any more compositions. Hopefully we get another one, but at the rate I'm going right now, I don't think so. That tree / half a tree is really the only interesting kind of composition that is even in this framing. And the background really does not lend itself to a photograph. So as interesting as this one looks, I don't think this is a picture. We'll just keep hiking. Well, we've probably walked about maybe 3 or 4 kilometers today, and it's already been 2.5 hours. And we still have only gotten one photograph. Just being able to be outside in nature, going for a hike. Even with all the people that I've seen today and all the interruptions to my filming, it has been a wonderful day. Just perfect scenery, nice and cool, not too warm. Although I guess I could deal with a bit less wind, but you can't really be very picky. Well, I guess I'll stop complaining and start hiking again. Today is just one of those days. Ugh. So I've found a tree that's kind of like bent almost completely over. That one over there. And it looks a little interesting. The tree is completely bent in half, but it's kind of wrapping around a tree as well. So if I could probably get on that side of it, maybe looking straight over, might be able to open up a nice little photograph. Now that I'm looking at it from over here, yeah, it wouldn't really work. There's too much branches starting to grow in front of it and all around it, as well as the backdrop itself. You can see one tree that is very prominently sticking right up through the center of it. And it would just kind of look ugly, really detract from this image. So maybe when there's a bit more foliage, it might change it, or maybe with a bit different light, it might look different. But for right now, it's not really catching my attention. But that's okay. There is a bit of a rock that's actually touching into a tree, and it's actually growing itself into the tree, which that looks really interesting. I really would like to be able to frame that up. Well, we may have gotten another photograph today. I'm not quite sure if this will work, but the tree down here that kind of caught my attention, it has the rock touching it / almost growing into the actual side of the tree. So here's what I was talking about. You can see the rock as it is almost crushing into the tree, growing through it even. And then you see just that little gap right there. And then right into the base where the tree is still growing in the ground, and still, it definitely looks alive. There's greenery growing on the tree. So this is kind of a very interesting backdrop that I like. So I'm gonna see if we can frame up this photograph. For this photograph, I've been changing up the composition a little bit here and there. I started a little bit closer, but then I had to kind of pull back a little bit so I could get some of the rocks in the foreground element. The only thing though, as I looked closer into it, it was kind of detracting from the image, as I could not quite get the full depth of field to get the rocks in focus as well as the tree. So I zoomed in a little bit past some of the distractions and some of the kind of ugly looking trees and twigs, branches, stuff like that, that really does not add to my composition. I zoomed all the way past that to about 155 millimeters. And then just framing up where the rock touches into the tree, as well as where the tree goes down into the ground. And you can see some of the moss on the inside of the tree, facing away from the, I guess from the prevailing winds and everything else, kind of very well protected. And those two areas are kind of what I was focusing on, as they're almost in a straight up and down plane. So I was very easily able to focus on them. So here's how the composition is looking so far. You see the main tree going up the center of it almost, and then you have right where that rock is touching into the tree. That was kind of what drew my attention to it. As you can see that the tree is literally growing into the rock face, as obviously the rock cannot move nor give way, so the tree is having to grow around it and quite literally enveloping the rock face. Talking about the technical specifications, we're at 1/50th of a second at f5.6, ISO 100 at 170 mils. Perfect. You can see the background is nice and softened up. The tree itself is tack sharp. We'll zoom in just to make sure. Now then, after getting it with the long lens at 170 millimeters, I want to try pulling it back all the way to the 70, and I might even put on the 50 millimeters to kind of introduce a little bit more of the rocks in the foreground. Now, I want to try using my faster lens. So with this pulled back all the way, it's just introducing some of the excess trees that are on the left-hand side, as well as there's branches that are kind of leaning over it, almost intruding in on the frame. When I was able to zoom in, I could get kind of past most of them, except for the smaller one. So what I thought we would try is put back on the 50 millimeter, and we'll see if that makes any difference. Yeah, I don't know. Using the wider angled lens, I don't think it really adds very much and or enhances the composition at all. In fact, I think it adds too much. There's just far too much unfocused mess, I think would be the best way to put it. There's just a lot all over the frame, and it kind of draws your eye everywhere. And you're not really focused in on anything, which kind of just absolutely ruins the image, in my opinion. That was a pretty good day for photography. Took quite a few hours of just hiking around and actually trying to find the composition, but it just goes to show you patience is absolutely a virtue. And as long as you take your time and keep looking around, you will absolutely find a composition. It may not be the one you thought it would be, and it may have nothing to do with what you're looking at, but as long as you're patient, the compositions will come. All right, one moment. So interesting to see them just riding on the wind currents, almost staying stationary as they drift around. Truly does look incredible. After we were able to get a couple of photographs and I tried the wide angle lens, it didn't really work out too good. So we are hiking back to the vehicle now. I'm gonna have to start heading home, make some lunch, as I came right out here after work, so I haven't had anything to eat since like 9 or 10 this morning. So many vibrant colors starting to come back and appear now. Absolutely makes me want to stop every few seconds and seeing if I can frame up a composition. But unfortunately, my time now is limited. Spent so much time trying to just hike around the perimeter of the escarpment. We've been here now for probably like 3.5 hours. So it's a perfect day for photography. My camera is dying though, so I will have to sign off soon. So if you guys enjoyed the video today, like, comment, and subscribe down below. Let me know what you thought about the compositions. And I'll talk to you guys again in the next one. Have a great day.